Hello everyone, welcome back to the Duchess of Unicorn YouTube channel. Wow, so it's another day in June. So it's June 3rd, and today we're going to peruse the internet together and we're going to discover what I'm seeing in the United States together on my browser, my algorithms, and kind of chit chat a little bit about that. Try to focus in on one topic. And so if you haven't been here before, the Duchess of Unicorn YouTube channel is all about the British royals as it pertains to, you guessed it, Meghan Markle and of course Prince Harry. Now, I have been uploading and we've been kind of talking in the comment section. So go ahead and remember after this video to go ahead and share your comments with me and anyone else and your thoughts, because I do enjoy reading them. But we have been going back and forth about different aspects of Meghan, what's really happening. So right now, Meghan Markle, and we've said this yesterday, has been lying low. And at first it was about the Archwell and all that whole deal, and then it was about the lawsuit, and then of course it was about living in Canada and the United States, and so now she's staying at Tyler Perry's home. Supposedly we'll hear soon that she's somewhere else. We don't know. She cannot stay there forever. It's not her home, right? And so we don't really even know if they're really there. That could have been a PR thing. So now on the 3rd of June, we are seeing the headlines after this, big thing in the United States of a unjust killing of a gentleman who, I guess something went foul in his being arrested or being detained of in some way, shape, or form, and he died. So he was murdered, and the 4 police officers were formally charged. So now we're in a new plateau, a new status of that whole thing, and so a lot of people are saying, well, Meghan, this humongous humanitarian activist, and she's biracial, and this biracial thing, people are coming at me in the comments and saying, if you're going to speak about race, I'm out of here. And it's so sad that people don't want to have a conversation about race because they don't know what to say. Some people are not knowing who they even are. I mean, we should all be required to have a DNA test so we can all honestly, on the same page, know who we are, right? Where we're looking out from. And so I, too, am biracial, and, some people don't want me to mention that. I'm never going to stop mentioning it. People don't want to hear about race. It's a frightening thing because it's a road sometimes people don't know how to go down. But when you are biracial, or I should say when I feel that since I'm biracial, I can talk about it freely and openly. And I've been through enough life to know that it's unfortunate, but there'll always be racism, and you can only do your best, and you can only control what you do, and hopefully it affects somebody else in a positive way, not having the negative person affect you. That's what you don't want. And so a lot of questions are coming up now, like, hey, this humanitarian Meghan Markle, what the heck is she doing? She's not voicing her opinion on this race war that's slowly developing due to all this, people sharing their words and their feelings and having it go all different ways. She's not getting involved with that. Well, we want to take a look at that today, and hopefully I can do that in a short span of time, because I don't ever want to feel like we're going to be doing this in a big amount of time, because really, do we all have that much time to speak on this topic? Not really. And it really doesn't require us to have that much talk. So I'm clicking on Daily Mail today, and we see that, a lot of people, and it is true, even in the comments, you'll see people saying, well, hey, Meghan is not talking about George Floyd's death, and she's not talking about Black Lives Matter, and she's not talking to or fro against it. She's basically laying super low. Now, to me, I could say that was a coward. I could say also that was someone that didn't want to get involved with this conversation because she's not equipped. she's not ready to say, hey, I am too black. She doesn't seem to want to keep reiterating on race because I think that it damages what she's trying to have done, in my opinion, my very humble opinion, is be more Europeanized, look more Europeanized, behave more Caucasian, and just stay on that road. Because if we look and we keep pressing and pressing and pressing, what we'll find is that throughout Meghan's career, she did not ever associate herself with her black side. And that could be a lot because when she was growing up, her mother, so it's been reported in many different places, that her mother was in her life, but she wasn't the main provider. Her father was. And that's why we're hearing conflicting things now. And I think that if you look at things like what they're writing on Meghan in terms of what they report on Meghan about her past, I think we'll see a lot that it seems like her dad pretty much raised her and was the one that kind of gave her a lot of, I don't know how we would say, the backbone, the juice of her, and that whole humanitarian self of giving of yourself and trying to be. I think that he instilled that. But Hollywood is an awful place to grow up. And if you don't have the whereabouts or the wherewithal to be able to contain yourself, your true self, in this little sphere of a bubble, that can eat and erode at the goodness in you. So some of us think, well, maybe that's what happened to Meghan. She kind of has that, she's walking that very thin line of, being a decent human being and yet having this side of her that wants money and power and to be, infamous and just to be all the things that we are taught as young people not to be. Like, we're supposed to attain all our goals and reach for the stars, but we're not supposed to step on someone else's back to do so. So I'm looking at this particular article, and I'm not going to read it verbatim, but what it is saying is that there's many people over the past few months that the royal couple have been silent, and they're basically speaking on things that are not race related. And I know it's hard to be an interracial couple and speak on race because, how can Prince Harry really speak upon that? He knows nothing of that. And Meghan, how can she really speak upon it because she's made a career of she's made a career of just wanting to be on that one side, that she chooses to push forward on her Caucasian side of her biracial ethnicity. And so she could speak about it, but you see that she only speaks about these things when it makes sense for her and it doesn't alter the way we look at her in terms, like, are we really looking at her and saying, yeah, she's a black girl? Because when you think about it, if you're half Caucasian and half black, let's say, it's not that you can choose which one you want to be today. It's not like, oh, today I'm going to be more white or today I'm going to be more black. No, it's you are both equally as such. One parent is one thing and the other parent is another. And they had you. And so from that sense, you can't wake up tomorrow and say, you know what, I feel very black. I look today, look at me, I look like a black girl. Yeah, so, I can really come forward and talk about this. And or Tuesday you can't say, wow, I'm going to straighten my hair and I'm going to do my makeup as such that I can downplay my black features of one of my parents, and I'm going to play up my Caucasian features. That's not something that you really can do. And if you choose to do that, well, then that speaks volumes about who you are and what you stand for. And it makes you look, or it makes other people look at, why would you want to play up one side or another? You just are what you are, and you should be proud of that. Now, in this particular article, people are questioning Meghan Markle has stayed annoyingly quiet through all this, and it's bugging people. And I think that that's because Meghan really if I think, and this is my personal opinion, 100%, if I think that she does speak upon it, and she does come forward, she doesn't really, I think, want to associate herself with one far side or the other far side. So not all Caucasian, she can't come off and play, because we're not going to allow her to do that anyway. We're going to call her on it. She can't come out and be like, as a white woman, I feel that, or as a, half Caucasian woman, I feel XYZ. Well, no, she really has to speak from one place. And she is that place, just as she is, a certain height and weight, and her hair is a certain color. So is it that she is biracial. And that means she has a dual part. She has a dual identity. Not that she can flip and choose which one she wants to choose on which day that she wants to choose it to, serve her greater good or serve her purpose. So I think that you're not seeing her say a lot, because to do so would put her a little bit more on one side, and maybe she just prefers to just not associate in that way with what's going on in terms of identifying. So I don't think she's trying to say that she identifies with this. So if she's being quiet, maybe she just doesn't want to say anything. But what I'm trying to say is that she's done it in the past, and we're seeing some clips of "I won't stand for racism." Well, really. So people will call for her to stand for this. And we'll see what happens.